Hey everybody, it is Saturday, November 16th, 2024. I am just leaving the facility. I worked last night overnight and then did some stuff here, went to lunch, came back, more stuff. And now I'm off and going home. And trying not to scrape the car on the way down the driveway. And off we go. So, what's today's topic? First of all, I'm just watching a little cat that they don't run out in the street, and they waited. So today's topic, what's on my mind right now, is I don't get people. I don't get, in this particular case, I don't get how some people will interview for a job, how they will be at this job. I just don't get it. You know, when I was not working for myself, and I would, obviously I have to apply and interview, and, there's phone interviews and face-to-face interviews, and maybe you interview with a group of people or numerous times, and then I also did it in return. I was interviewing for other companies that I worked for and trying to interview for people and positions and whatnot. And I was in a fairly professional industry. I mean, it was software testing. I'm trying not to hit this guy. And now I go. It was software testing and around a lot of developers, software people. Everybody pretty much has a degree. It's a different world. It's a different environment, different type of people. And I never really had issues with, besides this guy jumping right in front of me. Why? That's another video. You jump out in traffic and you force people to slow down for you, when all you had to do was wait, and then you can go out and be as slow as you like. But anyway, I never had any issues when I interviewed people, or when I did interviewing. I took it seriously. I tried to be professional. I tried to be on time, be respectful of their time. And when hiring for this facility, we're not seeing that. I'm not saying we never see it, but often we're not seeing it. I would say more often than not, we don't get that level that I would expect. So where am I coming up with all this? There's always these problems where somebody applies, I message them right away, they never reply. Okay, I don't know why you applied to begin with. I just sent you a message within minutes probably of you applying, and yet you never respond back. Not even with a no thanks, I just took another job. Nothing. That's minor. That's nothing compared to the other stuff. But the way they word messages is very casual, very non-professional. I mean, I guess that's the definition of casual, but it's really no other way to put it. Just not how it should be, But occasionally you do get some people that are better. Now, I'm not trying to talk about all the people that we never get to the point of wanting to even interview. There's a whole list of things that I think they should do better, but it doesn't matter. But let's say we get down to the people that we do interview. Let's just start with the phone interview. That's the first thing. If they have the qualifications and everything on paper looks fine, and I might ask them something in a message, or just to confirm something if it wasn't clear on a resume. And if it seems okay after that, then I try to schedule a phone interview to speak with my wife, who's the administrator. get on the phone, having the phone interview. It gets set up. They agree to the time, and she'll call and no answer. She'll call again, no answer. She might leave a message, or I might send a message through the web post, the job posting website. And maybe they never come back, they never respond. Or maybe it does eventually get scheduled for whatever reason they couldn't do the call. To me, that's strike number one. That's a big strike. It's like, if you knew you couldn't take the call, or you're in a bad situation, unless something really bad suddenly happened and you had no time to respond and let us. If something like that, okay, but I've yet to have somebody say, I didn't call you because I was in a car accident. There's always some other reason. They were busy, work got in the way, something. It's like, okay, well, I'm sure you had a chance to send us a quick message instead of just letting us dial into nothing. But anyway, it's stuff like that just rubs me wrong. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I'm your potential employer, and you're already going to start off like this. I mean, what do you think that's going to do to how I start to think towards you? It's not gonna start off good. Value my time too. I'm taking time away from whatever it is I do running a facility to try to talk to you, and you can't even respect my time to let me know you're unavailable suddenly or whatever. But anyway, so stuff like that. And some people get on the phone and they have an attitude. They act like they're like a gift to us, that we should be happy to even be hearing their voice on the phone. Not many have that attitude, but occasionally you come across somebody like that, and I'll never get that. I'll never get that either. Like, so does this work for some places? Do you find an employer that's like, wow, yeah, I mean, hey, you sound like you're my gift, and I'm going to treat you like my gift, and how much do you want to get paid? Because you start whenever you want. I mean, what do they get? What kind of responses do they get? Makes no sense to me. Had somebody recently sounded fine over the phone. My wife spoke to him, sounded fine. The messaging was fine, because sometimes you can tell, the tone or how they can write, and it reflects to me how they probably speak. And this guy seemed okay. Then we Suzette scheduled a face-to-face interview at the facility, and he got there really early, like 45 minutes, an hour early, and he pulled into our neighbor's driveway, and I assume at this point he realized this was not our facility, so he backed out. And then he parked in front of the house that was next to them, which is opposite us, if that makes sense. So it was like 2 houses down now. And he was parked in the street. And this was fine. This is where you should park. And then, he's still very early. And I want to say about a half hour of him waiting, because we went back to the cameras to see what was going on. Then he did like a little U-turn and pulled into our driveway and parked in our driveway. And at the time, my wife was away with the facility van doing some stuff, and then she was going to go pick up a couple of our consumers from day program and bring them back. And his phone interview, the interview was supposed to be about 15 minutes after they should have been back, or close to it. So he parks in the driveway in her spot, and this is odd. Actually, let me back up just a bit. I have a little bit of that story wrong. So she had left in the company van, but she parked across the street, and I don't remember why. But she parked across the street at first, and then did some stuff inside the facility. So the driveway was open. So he decides to park in the driveway. So she leaves to go pick them up, or pick up the consumers, and he's just sitting in our driveway. And I think he just caught her off guard, and she just kind of like, okay, and kept walking and went to the van and went and got them. And then when they got back, parked in the driveway next to him. This is very odd. It's like, why? Why would he park in our driveway? Why would you do that? You know, I mean, I'm sure there are some people out there who would say, you know, so what? Who cares? What's the big deal? Well, I see it in a couple of different ways. One, it's not very considerate of what we use that driveway for. You don't know what we do. You know, why can't the owner park there? Obviously, in our case, we have a facility van. Now you're going to be parking where the facility van gets parked. So why would you park there? Why would you inconvenience whatever we normally do at the facility? Why would you do that? Why would you just assume it's okay to do that? You know. And another thing is, like, what if your car drips oil? I mean, we tell everybody, it was like, we really don't want you parking in the driveway. We don't want oil dripped on our driveway. Doesn't take many of those cars to really make a nasty driveway, and good luck with cleaning that. So I don't get why somebody would assume that that's okay to do. So that to me is a strike against him. It's like, okay, you're going to start off being like this. If you're like that in our driveway, how are you going to be inside of our house? It's our facility, it's our home. How are you going to be inside? What other things are you going to take liberties with? What else are you going to help yourself to? So it really kind of rubs us wrong that way too. And from what I gather from the face-to-face interview, he came inside and just had a bad attitude. Like, I don't know, I'd have to go back to my wife to find out the details, but it was really kind of along the vein of, I don't need this job, you know, I'll take it or leave it, I'll think about it. There was also something else about, I think, the hours or the days of the schedule that he had a problem with. I forgot exactly what it was, but everything that was spelled out in the job description on the website, the job posting, it was all laid out right there, but he was having an issue with some of it. I was like, okay, then why are you here? If you did have an issue with the job posting, why wouldn't you ask that in the message or ask that on the phone interview? Why would you get to the face-to-face and now have an issue with it? That doesn't make sense. So it was several things that just didn't make sense. And so this is what I don't get. I don't get this. Like, what is this person thinking? I'm going to go to this job interview. I'm going to give him an attitude. I'm going to have a problem with what the job really is. And what? Does he think we're going to change the job to suit him now? Or what? I mean, it's ridiculous. So he wasted our time. He wasted really more of his time. He's the one who had to drive there and sit there for an hour waiting for the time. And then he gets nothing. So there was another person. I'm already at 15 minutes, and yet I'm talking longer than I want. We had somebody that went through the whole process, messages and phone interview and face-to-face, and was cleared. The background was fine. Everything was good. She agreed to the job we offered, and she agreed. Sent her the offer letter. She was wonderful with it, signed it, and never showed up for the shift. And this job that she had applied for and was offered was for the overnight shift. And I want to say it was on a Friday that it started. So Friday at 8 p.m., we're expecting her. She never shows up. No call, no email, nothing. We called, we emailed, nothing. Like, you know, so I'm sitting there. I'm expecting, because I was working the overnight shift like every single night for months because we had nobody but me. And I'm sitting there expecting to finally get a Friday night off where I can sleep in my own bed and have a full night to just sleep and relax. And now all of a sudden, I gotta get ready to go back to work. And like, oh my gosh, it's like, you just shake your head. It's like, why? Like, if you don't want to come to the job, fine. You changed your mind, fine. What is wrong with letting us know? Why can't you just let us know? You know, you're embarrassed, whatever. Why can't you shoot us a text? Sorry. Send an email. Sorry, I'm not coming. Why? Why can't you do that? So needless to say, she will never be hired with our place ever again. So maybe she found a better job and whatever, or thought she did, and you know, she burned a bridge with us. We're a great facility. The people that work for us really speak highly of it, and they seem happy. They're not going anywhere. So, you know, I keep track of these names. I keep track of the people we've spoken to. I track phone interviews. I track just them applying, and I keep notes about what's happened. Which brings me to another story, and I guess my 10-minute videos are going to turn into 20 minutes and 30 minutes. So, had another person apply for a position we have right now. It's for the overnight positions, 3 nights a week, 12-hour shifts. And the name looked very familiar, but I couldn't place the name. I couldn't remember what the story was. So luckily, I went back to my little spreadsheet that tracks all these applicants, and I had horrible notes about him. It's like, he's a jerk, he was a you know what, he had a bad attitude, and I put like in big bold letters, will never hire. I was like, okay, well that settles that. And yet here he is applying to our company again. It's like, these people, you know, clearly he's not paying attention to who he's applied to. But if he's still applying for jobs and still wanting to get a different job or needs a job, well, you burned that bridge, pal. You burned the bridge. You had to be a jerk on the phone, and I think that's as far as it went. It was just a phone interview, and if I remember correctly, this was the guy that just thought he was just the best thing ever, and his experience, he walked on water, and if I remember correctly. And now he's back. I didn't even have to message the guy. I just rejected the application outright. Like, don't even need to look. Don't even need to talk to you. You're not even, worthy of us considering. Was that worth it? So you're so wonderful and so terrific. You're the best thing ever, and yet we want nothing to do with you. And finally, to wrap up this twice as long video than I intended, have somebody who's working, or had somebody who's worked for us on the first day, just telling some other staff that they had been out all night long gambling and almost didn't even show up for work on their first day. And they're considering another place to work. If all of that is true, why would you say that? Why would you say all that to staff on day one? I mean, where do these people, where do they think the loyalty is of our staff? Do they think and hope that it's for this new person they just met? Or maybe to their employer that they seem to like? It's like, why would you expose yourself like that? Now, for me as the employer, I'm going to make a little mental note of that. And what I like to say is I put it on the little mental shelf that I keep. Like, okay, I'm taking note. You know, if this is what you do, I better keep an eye on it. And I guess she's been asking questions today about, you know, how lenient we are when it comes to calling out. These are all red flags. It's like if you're already asking about, you know, how are we with calling out of work? You're out all night, and we're not talking about a young person. We're talking about somebody who's just a couple of years younger than me. So, come on. You know, you don't have your act together by now? Out all night? Gambling? I don't get it. I just don't get it. But anyway, that's this person. I got more stories, but I think you get the point. If you're gonna be interviewing for a job, put your best foot forward and be that person. You know, don't make it a lie and fake your way through it just so you can get the job. Because I tell you, if this person, you know, were to start calling out and maybe they're coming to work so exhausted that they can barely keep their eyes open, it's like, what do you think we're going to do? I'm going to be, don't bother coming back. You know, I'm not going to jeopardize our company and the residents and to keep you. I'll get somebody else. We'll cover it. Suzette and I cover shifts all the time. So anyway, that's that. I'm about to go into the car wash. I'm being guided in here. And here we go. Gosh, I didn't even say the time. It's just a few minutes before 5 p.m. I don't get it, people. I just don't get it. You know, you got an answer? Because I don't got an answer. Have a great rest of your day, rest of your night. Boy, it's getting dark in here. And see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.